we are going to put a couple of links up really quick, and then we'll get started. I did this live view. I'm doing this live view tonight because there's some major repairs that I have to do that I thought you guys might be interested in seeing. So we will get started shortly. So we actually have quite a few knives that we're going to try and work on tonight. However, the main one that I started this for is a Fowler that I'm going to be reprofiling since the profile is a little bit messed up, and then thinning it. If at any point you guys have questions, you should be able to log into our group chat here or make comments on our YouTube page under the video, which I am trying to load up right now so that I can look at them. And we should be able to answer your questions as we go. So for example, if you can't see something well or something like that, just let us know and we can adjust the camera around. Right now I have this pointed at the wheel, and sorry for the mess back here. This is like the, I don't know, 30th night of the day today for me. But we're going to get started really quick and see how things go. So hopefully you guys enjoy the live view of the sharpening. So the knife in question today is this one. It's a Fowler Gyuto. And I guess what the issue is with it is this. So let me just move some stuff out of the way really quick. The issue is that the knife actually has a hole. Whoops, has a hole in the edge. Maybe if I bring the camera down low, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. I guess it's a little bit difficult to see, but the gist of it is there is a good section of the edge that does not make contact with the board. I can't tell if that's in focus or not. Anyways, what we're going to do is as follows. We are going to thin the knife out, but first actually we're going to reprofile the knife. Then we are going to thin the knife out, and then we should be good to go. Give me a couple of seconds as I try and figure out a better place for the camera and how to place it effectively. We're going to try and tape it down above the wheel so that you guys have an interesting view above the wheel. We'll see if this actually works well or not. All right. So it might get a little loud in here, but here we go. So the first thing that we're going to do is grind the shape in that we want. Clearly this is not the best idea up here. We're going to tape it to something else. Now that we have the shape ground in the way that we want, what we're going to do is start making the knife thin behind the edge so that it cuts well. And what we're looking for is that the edge thickness here remains even so that we know that we're not developing holes in the edge. And you'll see that the water kind of splashes up a little bit in certain areas, and it does that because the edge has been ground flat, so it's just hitting a flat surface when we do this. Hopefully you guys are able to see what's going on here. I'll show you in a second what the sides of the knives look like. So here, we're thinning up in this area over here, and on this side, we're doing roughly the same thing. And again, I'm paying attention to edge thickness here. I'm going to go check and see if there's any questions so far. And remember that you can ask questions either in the Google Hangout group chat or on the YouTube video page, which I will be looking at comments for. All right, cool. So nothing so far. Everything seems to be making sense to you guys. We'll get back to work then. And now my pressure of my fingers is focused more towards the edge. Initially, it was focused up in this area here, and now I'm focusing more towards the edge. Again, my pressure now is more towards the edge. And by doing this in like a kind of compound way, where I do like upper and lower parts and then blend them together, this is what creates a hamaguri edge. Now I can start to see as I look closely at the edge that it's getting relatively thin and pretty even and uniform in thickness. This area right here is a little bit thicker, so I'm spending a little bit more time trying to even that part out. All right, and now what I've done is I've created a nice, even, thin geometry here, which I don't know if you'll be able to see or not. You can get it to focus over here. Let's try something with some writing on it. That should give you an idea of the geometry that we've gone for here, which as I run my fingers along this way, I can't feel any kind of transition to the edge. Now that I've created an even and consistent geometry here, what I'm going to do is put a final bevel on the knife somewhere at like 10 to 15 degrees. Just really lightly. It doesn't take a whole lot of time or force or energy at this point since the edge is already ground so thin. We're going to turn this off. You know, so it's all pretty quick. Once the geometry is where you want it to be. Following this, the work is actually much less interesting. You know, which is refinishing the sides of the blade, and then making it look pretty. And as that's the more time-consuming part, I'm probably not going to show that here today. But we have other repairs that I need to do. So I'm going to go grab a couple other knives that need to be done, and we'll see what's next. Anyways, for now, you can see here that the profile has been changed a little bit, but more important than anything else, and again, we'll see if we can get this to show up here. We've created an edge that is extremely thin, so it should cut quite well too. So hopefully once this is all done and we've cleaned up the sides and made it look pretty again, the owner of this knife will be happy with it. All right, let's see what else we have around as far as our major repairs go. All right, I see a Yanagiba here that I think is going to need a handle replacement along with some major repair. So I'm going to take a look really quick and see what the customer has asked me to do, and then we'll get started on that. Bear with me 1 second. And consequently, if you guys have questions in the meantime, you know, please let me know, either by commenting in the video or commenting in the group chat here on Google Hangouts or anything like that. All right. Okay, it looks like we are going to be doing an ebony handle, I believe. Huh. I will have to speak with this customer about it. However, at the same time, we're going to have to do some sharpening and repair. So first I'm going to show you guys the knife, then we'll do some sharpening of it, and then we can move on to the handle replacement. So you can see here the handle is broken. So we're going to be knocking this handle off and putting on a new handle. In the meantime, we're going to clean up the Shinogi line over here and reshape this so that it's not as kind of messed up as it is right now. So again, we're going to go back to the wheel really quick. I think that the last place that we had the camera seemed to work well, except that the camera did get a little dirty, but hopefully it was okay for you guys. So give me a second. I'm going to grab tape again, and we'll tape the camera on here. All right, the camera is steady and there, and that should be a good angle. I'm going to check really quick again for questions and see if I missed anything, and then we'll get started on the Yanagiba repair. So bear with me again for a second. I do not see any comments so far, so we will keep going as planned. All right, here we go. Again, first thing is creating the profile that we want. Then next thing is sharpening from the Shinogi line so that we clean that part up. Here I'm starting from the tip since the tip is the part that needs the most repair. And you can see here now we've made a very clean, crisp Shinogi line. That's our goal here. Clean and crisp Shinogi line. All right, now we're going to sharpen near the edge. Again, I'm looking to see edge thickness here, and also consistency and evenness of the bevel as I go. And consequently, for anyone who's curious, this is a Suisun Inox Honyaki Yanagiba. So now the tip and the heel are starting to get a little bit thinner than the center part of the blade, so we're going to spend a little bit more time in the center part of the blade, adjusting edge thickness. Now it's starting to look a little bit more even, so we're going to do the entire blade again. And essentially what we're working to is just to make sure that it comes to, I guess, the apex is the word that I'm looking for. I'm going to run over to a finishing stone really quick and touch up some Uraoshi sharpening, just to give me a better idea of where I stand. Again, Uraoshi sharpening is for single bevel knives, sharpening the backside where you lay the stone or the knife flat on the stone and your pressure is on the pushing motion. And this should only be done on finishing stones. All right, now as I look closely at the edge, I can see the areas that need to be worked on a little bit more, which is from here to here, and here to here. A little bit right here. So we're going to work on those sections. All right, and now we are done on the big wheel. We've created a burr that's even and consistent from heel to tip, which is what we're looking to do. And now we're going to go to hand stones to do the remainder of the sharpening. So we'll clean that off really quick, and we'll bring the camera around again. Stuck on something. Yes. All right. Let's see if we can leave the camera right up there. Okay. Cool. So here we're getting ready to do our sharpening again. Again, I'm going to take a brief break to check on any questions that might have come up since we started doing this. All right, just looking around to see if there's any questions yet, so bear with me for a couple of seconds. Okay, it seems like we are good to go. So we'll get started again. Just mute the volume there. And I'm also going to look on Facebook and see if anything has come up there or on the forums where people might be asking me questions. So feel free to ask questions anywhere if you have any, and we will try and answer them as best we can. All right, so now hopefully you can see we're going to start sharpening this Yanagiba using regular water stones. So here we are, we're going to start on a coarse stone really quick. And again, my first sharpening is with my fingers on the shinogi line, but not pressing over it, but my pressure is down and back towards the edge. And what I'm trying to do is sharpen along the shinogi line first. And in an ideal world, your pressure will be mostly on the pushing motion on this side, actually on single bevel knives on both sides. But essentially when you're sharpening things like double bevel knives, you want your pressure to be on the push on the right side of the knife and on the pull on the left side of the knife in an ideal world. If you have it both ways, it's not the end of the world. It's really like it doesn't have to be so strict or formal, but those are things that give consistently better results. And to sharpen the tip, I'm bringing my arm inside and using a rocking motion where I lift up and rotate back towards the spine. It's a very slight wrist movement. Sorry, there's going to be periods where I end up not talking, and it's just because there's nothing else going on other than me sharpening, moving back and forth on the stone. What we're really trying to do is create a nice, crisp, clean shinogi line here. And the bulk of your work, consequently, is going to be done on whatever the coarsest stone that you're using is. Really, setting a good foundation in your sharpening is really the most important part of sharpening. Once you have a good foundation and once everything is good from your coarse stone, everything after that is just removing scratches and is very easy to do. Yeah, I'm just looking closely to see where residual scratches are from our previous stone, which was the big wheel. Now I'm going to move my fingers down towards the edge, and my pressure, instead of being down and towards the spine, are going to be down and towards the edge. The angle is very, very slightly different, but it's not like I'm lifting up the spine to change the angle. It's really more just a pressure issue, and this is how I'm doing a hamaguri edge, or like a convex bevel. What's it called? Clamshell bevel is the English of hamaguri. And again, just trying to make sure that I get rid of all the previous scratches and that it looks nice and consistent and even. Sorry, grabbing a drink really quick. It's kind of warm in here, so bear with me. All right, we're going to go back to sharpening again. And we're almost there with the removal of the previous scratches. Just a little bit more that I can see here. So it's looking good, so we're going to move up to our next stone. Just a quick touch on the uraoshi to see where we stand there. And then back to sharpening. Again, first time, shinogi line, and cleaning that part up. Then we'll be moving down from there towards the edge again. Actually, I'm gonna switch up stones really quick to demonstrate a point. Currently, I'm using really hard stones, which are fine as they force me to be really consistent with my angle. And the stones I'm using for another reason, which is that I'm testing stuff out to make sure that I like stuff and it might be something I end up selling. I'm going to switch to really soft and muddy stones, and I'm going to show you the difference in aesthetic look and ease of sharpening for wide bevel and single bevel knives. So you can see here we have a lot of scratches still. We're going to move to a really soft and muddy stone. And you're going to start to see it look instantly much more even and consistent. And here you can see all of a sudden now it's a very even and consistent looking edge. I don't know how well you can see that, but it is. So we'll continue to move up through the soft stone progression. So first up was our Geshin 220 grit stone. This is our Geshin 400 grit stone. And again, we're just going to look and make sure that the scratches are evenly and consistently gone across the face of the bevel, which is our goal here. We can move up from here to another soft and muddy stone. What should we use next? Let's do this one. I don't get to use it that often. We're going to flatten this one first, I think. And this is our Geshin 1200 grit stone, which is a very soft and very muddy stone. And as we can see, it actually did need flattening. And we're almost done here. And now the stone is flat. We round off the edges. And we give it a quick rinse, and then we're good to go. Once again, starting from the shinogi line. And I believe you can see how muddy this stone is. If not, I'm just going to tilt the camera a little bit here. Give you an idea, hopefully, of how muddy this stone is. And one of the nice things about really soft and muddy stones is that once you work up a lot of mud, you can reduce your pressure and use the mud to kind of fill in high and low spots and gaps so that you get a nice, smoother, more even finish. But it requires an extremely light touch and very light pressure. And you can see now a very smooth, very even finish on here. We're going to go to a couple last stones, so I'm going to switch over to the other side of my stuff over here. So first, we're going to use one of these harder stones again for the Uraoshi sharpening. And on Uraoshi sharpening again, our pressure is only on the pushing motion. Right. And as we're done with the hard stone, we'll switch to something softer again, much more muddy. This is a stone type that we will actually have sometime early this year that we started developing that I'm calling, for lack of a better term, synthetic natural. And that's not to say that the finish that it gives looks like a natural stone. It does not. What it is and what I liked about it is that it creates a lot of mud similar to some of the natural stones that I like on the softer side of things, that it creates an edge feel very similar to natural stones, and that it was really fast cutting and had kind of a nice creaminess to it. So you'll see what this looks like in a second. You can see it's got a lot of mud that develops relatively quickly. And once we have that done, we're going to go to one last stone, which I actually have back in this other thing for some reason. So we will switch back here for a second. Let me find the stone really quick. It is not that one. It must be... Not that one. Oh wow, it's getting really thin. But we're going to use another stone clamp to hold this one. Bear with me for a second while I get this set up. And this is our synthetic alto that we're about to use here. And it's, again, just, for a smooth, even looking, nice finish. That's our goal here. And so that's what we have now, a nice, smooth, even finish. We're going to come back here to our last stone and do one last time of uraoshi sharpening, and then also the koba, the micro bevel. And remember, pressure only on the push. And then we're going to do our koba, our micro bevel. Again, pressure only on the push and a higher angle than what you were doing before, but only on your finishing stone and just really light touch. Touching up again, going through burr removal really quick. Checking to see if there's any residual burrs. One last touch up. And then we should have an edge that digs in It's quite nice. So now that we've got that done, we're going to pop off this handle and prepare for a new handle to go on here. I may be running out of time this evening to continue the live stream, and if that's the case, I apologize. But let me just go grab the handle removal materials that I have, and at least we'll get this handle off, and then go from there. And I might have to end this for the night, but hopefully at least what you were able to see so far was interesting. So here we have, let's raise the camera up a little bit. Here we have the knife, and actually I use my one of my straightening devices as a wooden block. We have the wooden hammer of Thor over here, and very carefully what we're going to do is tap down here. My hand's still a little bit wet. Give me a second, I got to make sure everything is a little bit more dry than it is currently. And our handle is almost all the way off. I guess we got to go just a little bit more. Being careful not to have the tip of the knife go into the hammer. And now our handle is off. Then what we are going to do is clean up the tang over here and make sure that it's nice, doesn't have anything on it. We may have to make some adjustments to its straightness depending on how it inserts into the handle, and we will subsequently burn it in to a new handle, starting from here, heating this section up and burning in the pathway, then heating the subsequent sections up until we're almost all the way in, just enough that I can tap the rest of the way in while it's hot, and then we set it in there, seal the top, and we are ready to go. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Sorry to call an end to this a little bit early tonight. I just have a lot more work to do and very limited time to get it done. So hopefully this was educational for you guys, and have a great evening. Good night.